I'm going to take just a little bit. I want to make sure I don't have any other color on there. Of the blue. And put it right at the top of the tray. You always want that at the top, and you don't want too much. And I'm going to scrape off the extra, put that back in the holder, and put the top back on. I'm going to put a little white in it because I want it a lighter value. We're going to start light. So I'm going to take this, put it on the other side. That way at the end I could scrape this back in if I needed to. Okay, this is a brayer. We're going to use that to apply the ink really smooth. So we're going to take and touch the brayer here and there so that you have it about that much. And then we're going to roll it back and forth until it smooths out. You want to work kind of quick because if you go too slow, I've had kids that are trying to be real careful and they go like this, it'll dry the tray. So if you roll it too much and you go real slow, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. So that's about what we want. We want it to look like the surface of a sponge, not a river. Because if it looks too thick, it's going to go down in your grooves. This is going to be set up right there. There's probably going to be 3 other kids that are working. We're going to roll it a couple of times and stop. Because if I keep rolling it, it's going to take the ink from here and put it back on the brayer. Okay? It's going to go back and forth a couple of times, get more ink if I need to. Now I'm going to get more and get it smooth. So it's kind of, you have to move fast, but you want to move clean. Okay, I'm making sure right now that it's covered completely. Now, as I've been doing this, you'll notice that I've got ink here. So what we want to do is when we put the brayer down, we want to make sure the brayer doesn't go like in the ink so that you can load up your hands. Put the brayer so it's on the side of the tray. This is going to get moved to a clean spot, usually a table, but for right now I'm going to use the top of this that's not going to have any ink on it. And we're going to get a piece of paper, which usually is under the inking station, okay? So I'm going to take my paper and we're going to put this on top of this, like that. Hold with one hand and rub with the other. Let me see if this clay box will let me do this. It's okay if you get ink on the back. You just don't want a whole bunch on the front. Like you don't want a whole bunch of fingerprints on the front. Then we're going to push here and pull back. And then we get the first level of print so that it shows the white. And that goes on the rack. When I want to do my next color, I don't wash this. So let's say maybe I want to do a purpley white. I don't wash this unless it's going to totally contaminate it. All right, try to, like my next one, try to think, oh, what could I add to it? Because if you wash it, down in the grooves, there's going to be water pockets. And then when you print it, you're going to have that water explode. When you first get your trays, make sure you always dry them before you put the ink on. When you're done, you're going to scrape up. You're going to scrape up the ink like this, put it back in the right container unless it's contaminated. If it has a lot of ink in it from other inks, we don't want to put it back in. White's the tricky one. You always want to just put a little bit of white out because it's tricky to put back in. And then close that back up, and when you wash it, what I usually do is put it in here first, put the brayer down on the bottom while the water's running, scrub this way. Good. Scrub this way with water, and then when it's done, you can see how these are sitting up like that. You don't have to dry them. You put the brayers in there and you let those sit so that the next group can dry them off before they use them. And then your artwork goes on the rack. All right, that's it. All right.